وقل رب زدني علما.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا. I welcome all of you to our 11th lesson. Our 11th lesson today, and today inshallah ta'ala we are going to be talking about Hamzatul Wasl. And with that, with Hamzatul Wasl, we will inshallah conclude all of the concepts related to Module 2. And like I said last lesson, after we take Hamzatul Wasl, inshallah ta'ala, you should be able to read any word in the Quran by itself or in isolation, Bidhnillah al-Kareem. And then we will be left with practicing, or we will be left with going on to Module 3, which is the final module, which is about reading the whole ayah, or connected speech, connecting the words together. How do you stop? How do you start? And it's also related to, or we'll also focus in that module on perfecting the accuracy and also gaining a little bit of fluency as well. And then beyond that, you won't be 100% fluent unless you've learned before how to read. Fluency will come over the course of the many months, inshallah ta'ala, in which you will pick up the Mus'haf on a daily basis and develop this blessed habit. And as you read every day, 1 page, maybe 2 pages, as you get more fluent, 3 pages, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes for you, if you are consistent in that and implementing what you've learned in this course, then inshallah ta'ala, after a couple of months, maybe even by Ramadan time, you should be a fluent reader of the Quran, bi'idhnillah al-Kareem. So this course, it's a key. It won't get you to the fluency stage, but it will inshallah ta'ala give you everything that you need in order to get there. And then beyond that, you're going to have to take over and drive and move forward until you become fluent, inshallah ta'ala. So alhamdulillah, with that, I am very excited to start today's class and wrap up Module 2. First thing we are going to do, inshallah, like always, is watch a quick video in which I will explain what Hamzatul Wasl is, and then after that we will do a little bit of practice, and then inshallah ta'ala after that we will do a workshop today. So the teachers are there ready for the sisters to join us, and I'll take over with the brothers inshallah ta'ala. طيب, Bismillah. طيب, Hamzatul Wasl. Now, obviously, when we say Hamzatul Wasl, the word Hamzah is not something new to you. Hamzah is a word that you are all familiar with. And we've done Hamzah before, we learned about Hamzah before. And today we are going to be talking about Hamzatul Wasl. Hamzatul Wasl is the Hamzah that you've learned's brother. So the Hamzah that you know so far, he has a brother called Hamzatul Wasl. And in this lesson, inshallah, we're going to learn exactly what Hamzatul Wasl is and the difference between the Hamzah that you've learned, which is called Hamzatul Qata', and this Hamzatul Wasl. So to start off, let's consider 2 examples from the Quran. And I'm going to read each one separately. Here, this one should be read as 𝐒𝐢𝐠 𝐒𝐢𝐠 𝐒𝐢𝐠. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, now we are going to listen to the next one. This one is read like this: إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُو إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُو. Now that's the difference. Okay, which one of the two is Hamzatul Wasl? This one. Okay, how do you know this one is Hamzatul Wasl? Because you are familiar with this one. This one is new, so this one has to be the one that we are learning about today. Now, based on this example and the way I've read them, I want you to tell me what the difference is between the two. So Let's do that on WooClap. Let me share the link first. So you'll find the link in the chat. There we go. I'll also put it on the Telegram channel. So inshallah, after you join us on WooClap, the question is going to be, what are the differences between Hamzatul Wasl, which is the new one, and Hamzatul Qata', which is the one we've learned before. Okay? I want you, when you put the answer, to separate between each difference. Don't put all of them in one paragraph. Just write one difference, and then if there are more differences, and there are more than one, there are multiple differences, write it as separate submissions. So submit your first answer and then submit it again, and so on and so forth. Okay? طيب. I won't add a timer. I'll just see. I'll give you whatever time you need, inshallah. There you go. So those of you that are WooClap, please. So I'll recite both of them again. I'll read both of them again. So this one over here, قُلِ ادْعُوا قُلِ ادْعُوا قُلِ ادْعُوا. This one, إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُوا إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُوا إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُوا. So we have قُلِ ادْعُوا and إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُوا. Okay? Of course, the word that comes before these two, they're different. I wanted to take real examples from the Quran. So the word that comes before this is different, but these two words are the exact same. The only difference is this one is Hamzatul Qata' and this one is Hamzatul Wasl. That's the only difference. Okay? طيب. So based on that, submit your answers. Okay, so one person said Dhamma on top of Alif. Now it's not a Dhamma. That's not a Dhamma. This is Hamzatul Wasl. It's not Dhamma. This is what we're learning about today. Is Hamzah, the one you're familiar with, younger brother. Okay, it's called Hamzatul Wasl. I know it looks a little bit like a Dhamma, but it isn't a Dhamma. Okay? Got a few answers here. I'll put them up and then you can also vote on them, inshallah. One person said silencer. One person said wasl is not pronounced. One was read with vowel and the other wasn't. You connect the word before the hamza to it. Hamzatul Wasl had no sound. Hamzatul Wasl, if comes in between words, then it's silent or assimilated, but Hamzatul Qata' is read every time with the haraka, no assimilation. Okay. You connect the letter before the hamza to it. Hamzatul Wasl sounds oo. What sounds a. Okay. You ignore the Hamzatul Wasl. Hamza was read with Fatha. Which Hamza? Please don't put Hamza. Don't say, before today's lesson, you could get away with saying Hamza because you only knew one. After today's lesson, you won't get away with saying just Hamza. Now there are two Hamzas in the room. Okay? Now there are two Hamzas in the room. So you have to differentiate Hamzatul Qata' or Hamzatul Wasl. Okay? It's like when you're in a classroom and there's only one Muhammad. You can say Muhammad. But if you got two Muhammads, you can't say Muhammad. Which Muhammad? Which Muhammad? Muhammad Abdiwali or Muhammad Abdullahi or Muhammad Farah or Muhammad Ahmed or whatever. If there are multiple Muhammads in a classroom, as an example. So now we've got more than one Hamzah in the room. So you can't say Hamzah was read with Fatha. Which Hamzah? طيب. Hamzatul Wasl is when there is sukoon on the Hamzah, so the letter before is always connected. Okay, inshallah will suffice with that. Jazakumullah khairan, all of you, for your input. Let me explain, and then based on that, inshallah, we'll come back to these answers and give feedback. Okay? طيب, Bismillah. Alright, so قُلِ ادْعُوا and إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُوا. Now let's look at some of the differences. Okay, now this one is called Hamzatul Wasl, as we've mentioned before, and this one's called Hamzatul Qata' or Hamzatul Qat'i. Okay, now this is the example. Now look at the shape. The shape is different, so now you can see we have increased the size, so you can see that it clearly does look like a Dhamma, and this is the Hamza you're familiar with. Then we have what we call the vowel mark, Fatha Kasra Dhamma. Hamzatul Wasl never has a vowel mark. You will never find a Fatha or Kasra or Dhamma on top of the Hamzatul Wasl. Okay? Whereas Hamzatul Qata' does. Hamzatul Qata' carries a Fatha, Kasra and Dhamma. We know that. As a matter of fact, Hamza is the one that carries Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma, not the Alif. Okay? When it comes to pronunciation or the way we pronounce it, then we'll find that Hamzatul Wasl, we pronounced it in a connected way. Okay? So we said قُلِ ادْعُوا. We connected these two words. Whereas in this word, or in this example, we pronounced it in an independent way. إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُوا. إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُوا. So I can actually stop here and say إِلَيْهِ and then have a pause and then say أَدْعُوا. These two words are completely independent from each other. Whereas in this example, no. I can't say قُلِ ادْعُوا. I can't say that. I have to join it. I have to connect it. قُلِ ادْعُوا. And that brings us to the purpose. What's the purpose of Hamzatul Wasl? It connects two words. That's its purpose. That's what it does. That's why it's called Hamzatul Wasl. Wasl in Arabic means to connect. And that's why today's title is Hamzatul Wasl, Connecting Hamzah. This is called Connecting Hamzah. And this one's purpose is to carry a vowel. This Hamzatul Qata', what does it do? It carries a vowel. So these are the differences between Hamzatul Wasl and Hamzatul Qata'. The shape, obviously, they look different. One carries a vowel mark, one doesn't. One connects two words, whereas another one is independent. Okay, there is no connection. And purpose as well. One is for connecting two words and the other one is for carrying a vowel. Okay? طيب. Those are the differences. Those are the differences between what? Hamzatul Wasl and Hamzatul Qata'. So to conclude, or to ask a question which might be relevant, or you might be asking yourself, why is Hamzatul Wasl written if it's not pronounced? Okay? Now that's something inshallah ta'ala we're going to cover in next lesson. Okay? That's something we're going to cover in next lesson. That's the subject of next lesson, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? طيب. Someone asked, is Wasl or Hamzatul Wasl specific to Quran only, or is it in regular Arabic as well? Now, Hamzatul Wasl, its function is part of the Arabic language. But when it comes to other scripts, normal Arabic script, they don't write it. It's not written. So in normal Arabic writing script, Hamzatul Wasl manifests itself as just an alif with no Hamzah. That would be Hamzatul Wasl in normal Arabic script. But in the Quran, because of this special script which leaves nothing it leaves nothing for you to guess. There's no guesswork when it comes to the Quranic script. The Quranic script is the most accurate script on the face of the earth. And for that reason, Hamzatul Wasl, if there are two words there that need to be joined, Hamzatul Wasl will be there in order to inform you of that hey, look, you need to join these two. But normal Arabic script, it's part of the Arabic language, and Arabs speak like that. They do join words together when they speak. But when they're writing it, they just lazily just write an alif for Hamzatul Wasl. And if it's Hamzatul Qata', that's when they put the actual Hamza there to tell you that, hey, this is Hamzatul Qata' over here. You have to pronounce the vowel. Okay? طيب. ممتاز. Going back to your answers on WooClap. Some of the answers, Hamza was read with Fatha. طبعا we said this one we can't answer because we don't know which Hamza the person means. Hamzatul Wasl is when there is a sukoon on the Hamza, so the letter before is always connected. Now here, when you say when there is a sukoon on the Hamza, what do you mean? Hamzatul Wasl doesn't carry no sukoon, no fatha, no kasra, no dhamma. All of these vowel marks, it doesn't carry it. It's a vowel mark by itself. Okay? It's just kind of like a mark by itself. Okay? Whereas Hamza, the Hamzatul Qata' is an actual letter. It's actually one of the differences that I should have mentioned. Right? Hamza was read with fatha. Okay? Because it had a fatha. It carried a fatha. Hamzatul Wasl didn't. If you mean Hamzatul Qata', obviously. You ignored the Hamzatul Wasl. Yes, that's exactly what I did. It's as if it wasn't there. 𝐒𝐢𝐠𝐧, if we rubbed out the Hamzatul Wasl, the way we pronounce it would be no different. Hamzatul Wasl sounds like oo. No, not really. It doesn't sound like oo. 𝐒𝐢𝐧, lid'u. It doesn't sound like anything because we completely jumped it. You connected the letter before Hamza to it. Yes, I did. I didn't connect it to the Hamza. Rather, I jumped the Hamza and connected to the letter that comes after Hamza. Hamzatul Wasl, if it comes in between the two words, then it's silent or assimilated, but Hamzatul Qata' is read every time with haraka, no assimilation. Naam, barakallahu feek. Jazakallah khair. Hamzatul Wasl had no sound. Yes, because we jumped it. You connect the word before the Hamza to it. Yes. One was read with vowels and the other wasn't. Yes, because one was completely ignored, whereas the other one was carrying a vowel that needed to be pronounced. Wasl not pronounced, silencer. طيب. أحسنتم barakallahu fikum. These are some very good answers. And of course we explained the answers as well in the video. Okay. Now inshallah ta'ala what we are going to do is we are going to practice. And طبعا there is something about Hamzatul Wasl we still have to learn, which we're going to learn in module 3, because that's related to connected speech. Connected speech is about when you start, how do you start, when you stop, how do you stop. Okay, so when we are going to practice right now, we're only going to practice Hamzatul Wasl when it's between two words. Okay, I don't want you to start on the Hamzatul Wasl because you're not going to know what should be done. Okay, and I kind of like gave it away, spoiler alert, of what Hamzatul Wasl's real purpose is. Hamzatul Wasl's real purpose is basically to come to the rescue when we are starting with a word. Okay, then Hamzatul Wasl is going to have a haraka when it's the first word of the sentence or the first word you are reciting. Okay, now which haraka is it going to have? Fatha, kasra, dhamma? That's the topic for next lesson. That's the topic for next lesson. Okay, so right now when we are practicing, we try not to start on Hamzatul Wasl. Instead, we're just going to try to join it. And now I've got very good news. Okay, alhamdulillah. With that, we have completed module 2. Which means, what does that mean? It basically means that you can read any word in the Quran. You can read any word in the Quran right now. Alhamdulillah. Because we've done the shadda, we've done the tanween, we've done all the vowel marks. Alhamdulillah. So now, when I show you this page here, okay, you should be able to read every single letter, every single word, in this page by yourself. Okay, there are a few new concepts which we are going to learn in module 3 related to joining of two words or related to starting on a word. Okay, but for today, you should be able to read anything here. Okay, you're going to see tanweens, you're going to see shaddas, you're going to see Hamzatul Wasls. Okay, and that basically means that going forward, I don't even need to assign any specific work on Google Classroom. Beyond today, there is no assigning or making or creating specific assignments for you. This day onwards, inshaAllah ta'ala, this is where you practice. So I'll send you a link if you want to this website. It's called recitequran.com. Okay, this is where you practice. And the amazing thing about this website is that every single word here is pronounced separately. So all you need to do is click on the word, okay, as you can see, and it's going to pronounce the word. MashaAllah. Allahumma barik. May Allah reward the individual that recorded all these words. Must have taken a long time. So you can click on any word, it's going to pronounce it for you. Okay, as you can see. Okay, so remember the assignments I used to assign on Google Classroom? Well, they became obsolete now, because right now you are at a level whereby you can practice from the Mus'haf or the Quran directly. Tab'an, we want to get to a level whereby you can read the whole ayah. That's for module 3. Okay, that's for module 3. But right now, if you click on any of these words, you should be able to recite it. So you should be able to recite it in your head and be like mursila, and then click on it and get immediate feedback. Mursila. Alhamdulillah, I got it right. So that's how you should go through, and you can practice page after page after page after page and really build up that fluency, inshallah ta'ala, especially before we go to module 3. Okay? Alhamdulillah. طيب. Do they have an app for this? I'm not sure. But you can open it, I think, on mobile. I think it should work on mobile. And then you can just bookmark the page, and then it will function almost like an app in that sense. طيب. So let's do some practice. There's one thing I want to get your attention to, which is when you have Hamzatul Wasl over here, it has a very special function, this website. Yes, which is when you click on Hamzatul Wasl, it will join the two words. So check this out. Okay, so that's amazing, right? So you can read Ja'ili separately and then al-malaikati separately. Of course, this is al-malaikati, we gave it fatha. Why do we give it fatha? We'll learn that in next lesson. But what we learned about today is that Hamzatul Wasl joins the two words. So you should be able to click on Hamzatul Wasl, and that way you would be able to read two words together. Okay? And you will be able to practice that function of Hamzatul Wasl as well, which is joining two words. So again, I repeat, if you want the reciter to recite or to join two words together, all you need to do is click on the Hamzatul Wasl. So here we have Hamzatul Wasl over here. It's going to show you, it's going to write Hamzatul Wasl on top. If I can point at it. Allahi. 1 minute. Let me refresh. Sometimes it can get a bit funny. If it does, just refresh the page. Okay, so here you see, as I hover over it, it says Hamzatul Wasl. Let's click on it. See, it joins the two words together. Okay, same thing here. Okay, so make sure you are aware of that, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. طيب. Okay. Also, another amazing thing about this website is when it comes to the tajweed rules as well, especially when it comes to the ahkam al-nun al-sakinati wa tanween, for those of you that are familiar with that, that you can click on the tanween or the noon and it's going to show you how it should be pronounced with tanween, with tajweed. Okay, so it's very neat, Allahumma barik. Even I think on the med as well, I think you can press on it and it will show you how long it should be, I assume. Let's try it out. Okay, no. So the med, it shows you how long it should be, 4 to 5 lengths, but it doesn't actually pronounce it the way it should be done. طبعا, when you're done with the ayah, okay, just so that you know, you can listen to the whole ayah the way an actual proper reciter recites. You can go to the settings here and pick whatever reciter you like. I personally advise you to listen to Sheikh Ali al-Hudhayfi. His recitation is particularly very clear. I find it very, very clear and very, very useful for beginners. Let's listen to the first ayah, actually, the way Sheikh Ali al-Hudhayfi recites it. One minute, I can't hear anything. Okay, no, it's on Matrud. Sure, I just selected Hudayfi, didn't I? Select it again. Oh, apply changes. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go back to ayah number 1. Bismillah.
الحمد لله فاطر السماوات والأرض جاعل الملائكة رسلا أولي أجنحة مثنى وثلاث ورباع يزيد في الخلق ما يشاء إن الله على كل شيء قدير.
Allahu Akbar. Beautiful. You can also listen to any other reciter if you have particular, if you like, preferences. طبعا, when it comes to the reciters, some of them, they read clearer than others. Some read slower than others. The scholars of Tajweed, generally speaking, they advise with, when it comes to recitation, we're talking about recitation, these are not recommendations, other than their recitations. So, Shaykh Ali al-Hudhayfi, one of them, Husari, of course, is also recommended. He's very clear as well. Likewise, Minshawi is also very clear. طبعا, I know a lot of you must love Abdurrahman al-Sudais and Sa'ad al-Ghamidi and those reciters. Listen to them by all means, anytime you want. But we're talking about here, when you want to really get the pronunciation right, then some reciters, they really focus on pronouncing as clearly as possible. Khalifa al-Tunaiji as well, he's also very clear. Yeah, those are some of them. So you got Husari, if you like, Minshawi, Hudayfi, Khalifa al-Tunaiji. Those are particularly very clear in their recitations. Now,